Noise.
So as you know, I've just said to you, we'll just have a chat, answer some questions.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to start off with the first question. What got you into drums? So was it a drum beat? Was it a drummer? Was it like what was it that made you look at the drums and go, I want to get on that?
It's quite funny, really. I was in the like Cubs and Beavers and Scouts and stuff. I was in them when I was like 6 or 7. And do you know they used to do those church parades?
Oh yeah,
And they like you parade around the town, like,
yeah.
and you'd have those marching stairwells. I did that. I started doing that when I was like 7. I did that for a few years, and then didn't do anything until I was 13. And it was when I started high school. They were offering music lessons, and it was just a case of right. I want to pick that up again. I really want to play drums. I was starting to get into music properly. Um, yeah, so I just asked my mum. She said no, of course. It took a year to convince her, and then that's what I mean when I started high school at like 12. It took a year till I was 13. She agreed, and then it was year 8. I started lessons, and then I started for good, and then it was getting into bands like Queen and AC/DC when I was like 10. Between 10 and 12, I got into those two bands really hard. So that was where it all started.
Yeah, man. So Hold My Desire, how old were you when that band started? What sort of genre was it? Like so yeah, like
Um,
just talk about them really.
that started, I think, in about year 9.
Oh wow.
It really started. I had a best mate at the time called Jake, and we were inseparable. And he played guitar and I played drums. So naturally, we just played music together. And we started writing songs, I think, when we were 15, 14, 15. And we were just writing and writing and writing. And we had big plans, and we had an album. We were going to record it when we were 16 and get signed and all this. But it wasn't until we were, I think, just leaving school, we actually started to take it seriously and get members. It took about a year or two to get ready, and then we started playing gigs. We started as like cheesy metalcore. I'd say a lot like bands like Memphis Mayfire and
Oh
Asteroids,
yeah, yeah,
the way everyone sort of comes through. But we went through quite a few members, and then when we were like 18, I'd say we went towards the more like progressive metalcore side. We sort of took inspiration from bands like Volumes and Ocean's 8 Alaska, and one band that were actually like quite inspired me at the time. They are now Loathe, but
Oh
they
yeah.
were called Our Imbalance. It was like the band they were before Loathe, and the stuff Eric Bickerstaff from Loathe was doing when he was 16, like, is better than most people as adults, and that inspired me.
So oh sorry, no, I was just gonna say, so were Loathe the sort of like turning point for you getting into heavier music? Because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't find Gassed Up straight away. Like I would like stumble upon them. Like I went from Avenged Sevenfold, Lamb of God, and then from Lamb of God, everything sort of started taking like a I don't know how you
Yeah.
describe it, like a shape, and then all of a sudden you go down this slope of heaviness and harder.
Yeah.
So were Loathe the band that started everything for you, or was it a different band?
No, I'm the exact same as you. Avenged Sevenfold, and Bullets by Valentine, and Alice Alexandria. Those three bands started absolutely everything for me.
Wow.
And those three bands are the reason I am the drummer I am now. And I know like it's not the most complex of drums, right? So some Avenged Sevenfold stuff is, but like that is the reason I became a metal drummer, and that's how I sort of transitioned from playing like rock beats to Queen and AC/DC to double bass patterns. It was those three bands.
I would say I think I did that as well. Like I can't remember how I got into Avenged Sevenfold. It was I got into like the Nightmare and Shepherd of Fire like era of
Yeah,
Avenged, and then it was like only like when I started doing my research on them, I was like, oh shit, this drummer is like the other drummers are mental.
yeah,
Um, so talk about Sausage Fest because I did a bit of digging up on your Instagram, and you said it was a
yeah.
400-mile round trip. How was that?
Sausage Fest. Oh, that was the Stranraer.
Yes, I think
It's
so.
really funny. It's really funny that actually. I don't know if you looked at the poster. I don't know if you remember seeing a band called Dissonance on there as well.
No, it was only the only thing I saw on your Instagram was the map of the journey you're
Oh
doing.
yeah, it's really funny actually because Whole Mad Site opened, and then a band from our same town called Dissonance was after us, and Dissonance was basically, well, Gassed Up is a mix of members from
Oh
Dissonance and Whole
wow.
Mad Desire. So Jack and Robert, the two guitarists of Gassed Up, were in Dissonance. The original drummer of Gassed Up was the drummer of Dissonance. The vocalist of Dissonance and Whole My Desire was the guitarist of Gassed Up's brother.
Yeah.
And the bassist of Whole My Desire was the first bassist of Gassed Up.
Jesus. So yeah, that's like a big maze of.
And the guitarist for Whole My Desire was the twin brother of the original drummer of Gassed Up.
Wow. So that's like, yeah.
How we all interlinked, yeah.
I was gonna say it's one of them like weird puzzles where it's like this man's father is my dad's son and all that like weird like philosophical stuff. So I might want to retract some of my points then, because when did you join Gassed Up?
To be honest, Gassed Up hadn't been going that long when I joined. They'd just released No Salad.
Oh, okay.
So I went about May 2015, and I think they first released Gas in the Attic with a different vocalist at the end of 2014.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it wasn't much time. So I think they played about 2 gigs before I joined.
So, well, obviously, as you said, they only released Gas in the Attic, but like, did you feel like you had not big shoes to fill, but like, did you feel like you had someone's shoes to fill, or did you like go, right, I'm in the band, I'm gonna do like, obviously I got to play to the song, but I want to do what I want to do, not do what someone else does for the band, if you get what I mean.
It was completely like that. I would actually say the attitude of Gassed Up changed. I'm not necessarily saying it's because of me, but the attitude to the band completely changed when I joined. Before I joined, as an outsider, I knew them all, and I knew the members quite well. It was sort of a joke.
Okay.
It was seen as like a little joke band because everyone still sort of had their other bands at the time, and Gassed Up was the thing on the side. But then Whole My Desire ended, Dissonance ended, and that's where we all sort of came together and made Gassed Up out of it. And I'd say when I joined, that was the point where we said, right, let's actually take this seriously. We've probably got something here, you know, because I joined and we started writing the Judgment EP.
Oh.
And that was when we were sort of like, hold on, this is actually really good stuff. And fair enough, some people have sort of done what we do, but we didn't feel like anyone was doing it like we did it. So that was the point where things turned, and we said, right, this isn't a joke band that's going to play Preston 3 times a year. We're gonna do something with this.
I would say, no, I was just gonna add on to what you're gonna say. So Gassed Up, they're different. Like
Yeah.
they're just like not even. They're just, you know what I mean. They're just different. Like if it's Dan's vocals or the bars, like. So straight away, that, or like in my opinion, that would play in your favor because people are already, even if it's hate, people are going, "Have you seen what these Gassed Up guys are doing there?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
So
it definitely started like that. It started what we actually took quite a lot of what's the word, slack at the start.
Yeah.
We weren't taken seriously, and I think it was because we didn't take ourselves seriously as much. And I think we started to do quite well and get good slots and good gigs. And I think a lot of people had stuff to say about that. And it took us actually, I would say, we've only just started to change a lot of opinions.
Really?
On us. And I feel like we've still got quite a long way to go.
Wow. Because I remember the first time I heard you, it was prime lockdown #1. And the Pint Glass Boys were talking about you on their podcast. And they were just saying so many good things about you. And then I can't remember if it was Barney or Ben went, their Judgment EP is phenomenal. And I remember going out and walking my dog. I slapped it on. And I just remember, because the first song's an instrumental and it flows perfectly into the second track. And then I just remember the last song had Clawhammer on it. And I just remember walking my dog. I can remember exactly where I was. And next thing you know, Clawhammer, beat down,
Yeah.
Preston hardcore. And I just remember listening to that and I was like, it basically changed everything for me because
Thank you.
I think as well it was Dan's bars when he's like, and I'm murdering, lurking like a murderer in a bleed flame for something. You know what I mean? I can't
Yeah.
exactly, but it was that, and then the clawhammer pickle, and I just remember listening to that and thinking, this is like revolutionary for me because obviously it's just it's just something that no one ever heard before. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just completely
Yeah.
different to the same old beatdown sort of
I have a
thing.
love-hate relationship. We have a big love-hate relationship with that song now. So obviously all the issues that came out with Clawhammer,
Oh yeah.
and so we don't play that song live. We don't really intend to. Can't
Nah,
remember the last time I
completely.
actually listened to it.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, that song. We're sort of trying to distance ourselves from that one now.
Nah, I completely get what you mean. So
Yeah.
what was your actually that's kind of your first show was with Clawhammer. Am
It
I
was.
correct?
My personal first two shows were with Clawhammer.
How did you find both of them?
The first one was terrifying because I'd been in like a metalcore band before. I hadn't really like experienced a beatdown show or like the first show we played was Clawhammer, like deathcore beatdown. So I hadn't experienced the whole atmosphere of what happens at these sorts of shows. So like it's a bit strange to me at first. Like I didn't really get it as much. And I was like so scared about my first time playing the gas up as well.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I remember I only messed up once. It was during Shelldown. I remember I just completely forgot what was coming, but the whole song is pretty much just a straight beat the whole way through. And I remember I just played like a 4/4 rock beat for about 4 bars, and I thought that'll get me through until I remember where I am, and it worked. No, that was really good. First show Clawhammer, that was in Leeds, and then my second one was in Glasgow, so it was their hometown. And by then, we were in the groove. Then it was fine. It was
So
great.
this is actually not diverting the topic a bit, but it's kind of related to gas up shows and drumming. What do you think about when you drum? Do you think about anything? Because normally when I'm playing in either my blues band or my metal band, my mind is just thinking of like completely different things to what I should be doing. Because I was playing today, I was doing like a live stream, and all I was thinking was, I'm getting Shaun from Gassed Up on a chat later, and it was all I was thinking about. I didn't mess up once. I smashed through it. So what sort of things do you think about like when you drum?
Always, I'm thinking my arm hurts. It's always like it's always here. I'm always like, oh, my arm's hurting so bad. It's a good question, actually. What do I think about when I play drums? I'm always thinking about what's coming next.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about how I'm performing. So, I'd say I take quite a lot of pride in how I perform. I don't like drummers who just sit there and play.
Yeah.
I try and do a bit more. So I'm always thinking about how I'm probably being perceived. I don't want to be known as a boring drummer. So I suppose I'm always thinking about that. And I suppose I'm always, because I've got the click of the backing track in my ear when I play. So I'm always, processing what's going on there and just thinking about the click, really. That's it.
Well, this is I'm gonna quite skip forward and then we're gonna take a step back, if that makes any sense. Because obviously you referred to thinking about how you're being perceived as a drummer. Mate, you are a powerhouse behind the drum kit.
Thank you.
I was watching the live at Boom stream, and there were just moments where you do a fill, and it would literally be like a double bass pedal and then a snare, and there was so much emphasis in it, and there was so much like, especially as you could see it, like, do you know what I mean? You could just see how much power you're putting into that snare. It was phenomenal. And I was going to tell you something else, but I can't remember what I was going to tell you.
That's probably why I'm always in pain, because I play too hard.
Mate, honestly, you're just a powerhouse, and it's just
thank you.
It's phenomenal, like watching you play. And when you come to Bristol, I will be watching you like a hawk. But
dogs out. I'll mess up now.
Yeah. I'm going to use that as a clickbait title. How to get Shaun from Gassed Up to mess up every show. Watch him like a hawk. So, Full Contact, No Witness was your, and then a few other bands I couldn't remember, was your first headline show. Or was it?
I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here. I
Oh,
think.
go on.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I know what our first was. That show got cancelled.
So, what was your first show then? Who was the lineup and where was it?
I think our first ever headline show was in Leeds. I might be wrong, but I think it was Leeds. And I think the lineup was. God, who was it now? It's really. It was Gassed Up. Then I think Resist were on before us. That is Bradley Clarkson's band, if you know him. He does Fury Fest.
Oh, yeah.
That was Bradley's band. I think a band called, I've forgotten the name now. A local band to Leeds. They played with us quite a few times. Oh, I've forgotten the name. Feel bad.
Oh, brilliant.
I feel bad. I can't remember the other few. It was a few local Leeds bands, I think.
That's right, man. I just thought, because obviously I saw on, I think it might have been your Instagram, that was like that was the first show, that was the first poster that had you at the top of the bill. So I sort of assumed that was your first show.
I need to change my Instagram, really, don't I? I need to
I would say I do that with everyone. I literally try and find their personal Instagrams and just go whoosh and try and get to the bottom as quick as possible. So the Judgment EP,
yes.
as I said earlier, phenomenal. Did you ever expect it to take off? Like I know that's a hard question because obviously no one expects anything to take off. But like when you look at Shelldown, and we'll tie this in together, Shelldown has become a fan favorite by everyone.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Did you expect Shelldown to be the one that everyone sort of is like, play Shelldown, or were you expecting it to be a different song off that album, or a completely different song in general?
In terms of expecting to blow up and do well, no. I think because I'd never been in a band. Well, none of us had really been in a band that had done as well as Gassed Up has done before. So we didn't really. I don't think really had any expectations. We were still sort of just taking it as it was.
Yeah.
And we sort of didn't really put any. We didn't really know what we were doing. That is the honest answer. We didn't really put PR behind it. We sort of just recorded it, released it, and said, "There we go, that's that." Whereas obviously now, as we've got bigger, there's so much more you've got to do and put into
completely.
It. In terms of Shelldown, no. I honestly expected it to be Judgment.
Wow.
Purely because of Pelbu from Knuckle Dust. Obviously, Knuckle Dust are probably the biggest UK hardcore band there's ever been. So that was a big thing, getting him on a track. And he was really nice about it. I mean, we went down to London to see him as well, and it just worked really well. I feel like his voice gave that song a whole new dimension.
Well, that whole EP is, as I said, from start to finish, the intro, then Judgment, then Shelldown, and it's just such like the instrumental, and then it's like the dun dun dun. It's so the way that track flows into the next one is just it's just phenomenal. So
quite funny actually. We did a weekender with Azazel in 2019, and we hadn't played that intro since we released Judgment. We used to start our set with that until about 2016, and then we never played it again really. And then in 2018, I think it was, we said, right, let's do intro Judgment like the way it's supposed to be. And Dan did like a freestyle over the intro, like. And it just didn't work.
Oh, never mind.
Well, Dan probably thinks it works, but we weren't that keen. It wasn't the way it was meant to be, and we haven't done it since. And I actually, I didn't like Unbenign when we first wrote it. I didn't want that on the EP.
Wow.
Which is quite funny because that song's done quite well.
I would say I think, in terms of Gassed Up songs, I think Conflict is probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
Just because I think, all in all, like, it's just, I think the bars Dan spits on it are just they're so inventive. Like I'll leave you drowning in the sea just like a manatee. And then it's you better beat it just like Michael, someone telling my Rampage Jackson. Like that whole little bit is just so like the fact no one's ever done that before and you guys went, we're doing it. It just do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just shows that like
Well, same with the Michael Jackson sample. We had never actually written that to be in the track. That was a funny thing we did in the studio where we recorded with Eric Bickerstaff, Lowe's guitarist. We went with Eric for everything we'd done at that point. I'm sure he said to me like, I think we were talking about the track, and I'm pretty sure he had a guitar in his hand, and he just played, and we thought, should we? I think we ummed and ahed about it for about 10 minutes, and then we're like, yeah, go on.
Mate, it adds so many layers to it, and just in the best way. So it was actually quite nice because we sort of wrapped up. Well, we haven't talked about No Salad.
Yeah.
Did you drum on No Salad?
No.
Okay.
I didn't write that.
Okay, I was gonna say because the drums sound really nice on that, and if you did it, then fair play. Because you said that the original drummer did Gas in the Attic, but I didn't know if you just meant the song or the full EP.
It was Gas in the Attic, No Salad. So they originally released. So Gas Up started with two vocalists. One was called Liam, and then there was Alex, who was in the band quite a long time, and they released Gas in the Attic. But then Liam left, or he might be kicked out. I can't remember. And that's when they got Dan in, and then it was Dan and Alex, and then they re-recorded No Salad and Gas in the Attic and released that. And that's what you know today. The old version of Gas in the Attic doesn't exist anywhere.
Wow.
We've not even.
Oh wow! So the band haven't even heard it. That is saying something. So we've sort of done quite a good thing. We've started from the bottom, and we're working through your discography, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
So after Conflict, Bits Apart. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes. Bits Apart, yeah.
That is, to say the least, different from No Salad and Conflict. Is there a story behind it? Because it's very melodic and it's very metalcore-y. And I remember I was sitting on the bus the other day and I was like, right, I'm getting Shaun on, so I got to go through their discography. I got to listen to everything. And I was like, Bits Apart. I was like, I think I've listened to this before. And I put it on and I was like, oh wow, this is extremely different to like Section 20 or Judgment. Or so what was the writing process, the thoughts, everything behind that song? Because it's so different to what Gassed Up are, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, Bits Park was sort of a turning point in Gassed Up. Well, just before Bits Park, it was a turning point. So it originally started, Gassed Up had, we were a 5-piece, we had 2 vocalists. It was Dan and a guy called Alex. So some stuff happened, Alex is out of the band. We decided we're just going to stay with one vocalist now, just Dan. So we're a 4-piece, and we were like, okay, moving forward, we're going to stay as one vocalist, but we feel like the music we sort of want to write and move into, we need 2 guitars for. I think that was one thing that was missing from our sound. So going back to Dissonance, the first band that Jack was in, we got a guy called Rob Newton in the band as 2 guitars. And now Rob was pretty heavily influenced by metalcore. And that's like all the direction we all came from. So when we started writing Bits Apart, now with 2 guitarists, mainly with Robert's influence, it sort of naturally took that metalcore direction. And we sort of, as it was coming out differently, we sort of liked that it was different. We felt like the band had changed. We had new members. The lineup's changed. We even went to a different studio. That was the first track we'd ever not done with Eric from Lowe.
Okay, yeah.
Inner Sound Studios in York. So they've done like Invisions. I think they've worked with Asking Alexandria, and with One Last Breath, they used to be in that band. So everything was just different. So I feel like we had to do things differently because everything was different. Our lives had changed. That was the point as well. We went on with illicit music, and we knew we had to start doing things differently. It was the first ever proper music video we'd done. So everything just had to be different. We had to try something new. Did it work? Probably not, but still glad we did it.
I would say, it's one of them songs that like it's just if you like stumble like I did, because obviously you got No Salad, Judgment, Conflict, and then Mother I Suffer came out after Bits Apart.
Yeah.
All those ones that I've named are very well known for Gassed Up, and then you've got Bits
Yeah.
Apart, and it's like one of the not it's not you've got to be an OG fan to know that one, but it's one of them ones that you've literally got to like not delve into, but you've got to like kind of accidentally stumble across by looking
Oh,
into their discography, sort of thing. Do you know
I
what I mean?
agree. It's like that for us. I forget we even have that song because we've not played it live in about 3 years.
Wow.
Sometimes we talk about it, sometimes, and it's sort of like chucked back under the rug. It's a case of should we just do it once just to see what it's like? Because we did play it live for a bit, but we felt like our set was like this.
Yeah.
We played bits of it and it just go down, and it's hard
It's
to
not really a moshing song, is it? Like you can't really
no.
you do you know what I mean? Like compared to No Salad, where it's literally like the ending and then it's like the biggest just drop of do you know what I mean? So it's like at least with some of these songs it's all like moshy and then like bits is kind of like melodic and like so it's sort of it doesn't divert from what you guys are, but it's sort of like it changes the vibe of the show, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just didn't work. We tried it, but it's a good song. Like, well,
Phenomenal. I
I think
love
it's a good
it.
song. I do like it as a song, but where we are now, it's not what we want to be. It's not the big. It doesn't fit into the bigger picture of what Gassed Up is anymore.
No, I get
So
you.
it doesn't fit live anymore.
One song I want to talk about because I remember where I first listened to this, and then I listened to it a few times and I disregarded it straight away. And only when I re-listened to it a few weeks ago did I go, actually, this is a slapper. IPA Till I Die PA. What a song.
That's one of my favorite Gassed Up songs, if I'm honest.
Really. I think the ending alone is just, do you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
what would you say is heavier, the ending of No Salad or the ending of IPA Till I Die PA?
Ooh. Oh, that's a hard one.
See, I think IPA Till I Die PA, but I think because you guys don't play it as often as you play No Salad because you finish every show with No Salad, I think IPA Till I Die PA is kind of slept on when it comes to heaviness. You know what I mean?
Oh, completely. Like for me, I would actually say it's in my top three most fun songs to play on drums. But we did used to always play it, but we got to the point where we felt like it was too long, and we felt like it had its big heavy bits, and then the rest of the track, people sort of still like,
Oh, hello,
shall
you're
we do
back now.
something? This song's still going on, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
We may or may not be bringing it back into our sets. May or may not.
That is gassed up unreleased comment from the man himself. So referring back to a comment you made, it's one of your top three favorite songs to play.
Yeah.
What are your top three gassed up songs to play live? Like if you could if Gassed Up had a free song set and Dan looked at you and went, right, Shaun, what songs are you doing? What songs you picking, mate?
Easy since day one, No Salad. Even though I didn't write that song, there's something about it, and that song will be in every Gassed Up set till our last show.
Thank God.
It will. It's one of those songs that is Gassed Up, you know.
I think it's just two step like the whole way through, and it's like you see my space right here, you better keep out, mate. I know pretty much that song line to line. Like if I'm in the shower, I smash it on straight away, like that.
It's
and
that still at the start. That so simple, but there's something about like Chris who wrote the old drummer who wrote that. It was perfect. Like, and I don't play it exactly how it's recorded. I do change it up in bits, but it's just so fun, so fun. As well as that, I think I'd probably say, I really enjoy Conflict, but it
Yes.
tires me out.
Really? Wow.
Conflict's always at a point in the set. We always play it about third or fourth, and by then you've sort of worn off the initial adrenaline and you're starting to ache. But then after about the fourth song, you sort of get into the flow and your muscles sort of get used to what you're doing it. But conflict is always at that point where my body's in like shock.
Yeah.
So by the time I get to the break near the end where it's just bass and drums on the floor song, my arms are like, oh. But it is such a fun song to play. So no solid conflict. It's a difficult one, this, because you said most fun. Mother I Suffer would be like the other song that I would never not play, but it's not the most fun on drums.
I get you.
What's really fun on drums?
What about Showdown? Is that fun to play?
Showdown's quite fun. It's quite fun.
Well, I'm just looking at your Live at Boom set list. So you did Section 20, Conflict, Showdown, Insomniac, Pain Resides, Mother I Suffer, and No Salad.
Insomniac's fun because it's easy. Pain Resides is fun, but it's hard.
Yeah.
So it's how I go about it. I'll say Mother I Suffer. Yeah. No Salad, Conflict, and Mother I Suffer. They're the three songs for me that define this band.
Mother I Suffer is the one, I think it's this where you do like a breaky bit and it's like that shuffly dun 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 dun. Is that Mother I Suffer? Yes. That's always how I remember Mother I Suffer, because I never remember what song it is. And then you do that dun 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 dun, and I just remember like the shuffle, and I'm like, yeah, man, like it works. So again, this is how not diverting we go, but you said conflict is quite tough. Through shows, how do you deal with stamina issues? Like not issues as such, but if you've got, say, you start off with Showdown, and then you go into conflict, do you sort of lay off on Showdown because I've got a big heavy song coming up, or do you just go for broke in both songs and then face the consequences when you're done?
In all honesty, I never once think don't go all out. And I remember I had a conversation with Paul from MTXS, who's now in Lotusia. I remember speaking to him once, and I said to him, like, no, we were on tour and we were 2 days into it, and I was like, my body's done. And I was like, I go 110% every song every night. And he said, don't. He said, go 70% every day.
Wow.
And he said, that's the way you'll get through it. But I don't think like that. I don't play like that. However, in Mother I Suffer, there's a point in the song where there's like a little quiet break, and then I go into some blast beats. Now, by then, I'm knackered, and those blast beats are really quick. So I always, about a minute before that, I always calm down. So I know that. But that's the only time in the whole set.
No, I really like, because obviously I'm in a metal band, and I'll play one song, and I literally have to step away for a drum kit and get away from like it in a 20-mile radius. My hands are tingly. I've got like 4 bottles of water, and I'm just like, do you know what I mean? So like, just asking as many drummers as possible how they deal with like stamina is just really interesting to me.
It's changed my life. I got like an industrial sized fan. It's about 25 inches.
Jesus.
And that changed my life.
Well, I'll have to invest.
As little as that. Yeah.
So run me, as we're on the topic of drums, run me through your drum kit and what drumsticks you use.
Drum kit. So I've just changed actually. Up until about 3 months ago, I had the same drum kit for about 11 years.
Wow.
And it was like a Mapex Horizon, sort of like lower level to intermediate level, like around the £600 mark, so sort of not cheap but not expensive.
Yeah.
And that's played every gassed up headline show. It played every headline tour because I used to supply the drums for it, and it was absolutely phenomenal for a cheapish kit.
Yeah, completely.
But I just switched to a Tama kit. I always wanted to. I use like Tama hardware, and I used to use Tama pedals. But I don't use now. I've just switched to direct drive. I've got the Yamaha FP9 double pedals. and they're weird, really weird. Direct
Hello.
drive's weird. I still don't know if I like it. So that's my drum kit. Drum sticks, I use Los Cabos, so I'm endorsed by them. I've been with them 4 years now, I think.
Wow, congratulations, man.
Thank you. 4 years, yeah. And I'm with Dream Cymbals as well.
Oh wow, that's are they Turkish?
Canadian.
Are they? Because I think we've got.
Yeah.
I think I've got a few of their cymbals in college, and one of the teachers is like, "Oh, they're like some of the best cymbals on the market," and I'm not a fan of them. Just I think the ones that we have in college are a bit too dry for my liking.
That's weird, that, because I'm like that. I hate dry cymbals. The range I use is called Energy, and they're really, really bright. Well, the range is bright, but what I use, because I've got a 22-inch crash and a 20-inch crash, so it's almost too big to be very bright.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but they're the only cymbals that don't crack. So, it's not that I just want to use them, but I have to use them.
No, I get you. I get you. Referring to drum kits, the drum kit you use in Section 20, the music video, is that the same drum kit you are going to start taking on tour, or that you have been using on tour?
Yeah, that's my old kit that I've now sold.
Oh, okay.
And I always said I'd never sell it as well, because it's my first kit, but yeah, it's happened.
Well, let's stick on the topic of Section 20. Phenomenal song. I love it. It was one of them ones that wasn't hard to sit with me. Like, it took me a few listens till I was like, yeah, like this is a really good song. Like, I think that's with like anyone. Like, they drop some new shit, you're just like, oh, I don't know, and then like after you've broken the ice with it, it's like,
definitely.
Where did all that stem from? Like, was there a clinical turning point in the news that made you go, right, we need to write a song about a man not being right holding a knife? Or was it just like, this is a topic that needs to be addressed and no one is doing it, we shall now do it, sort of thing? Do you get what I mean?
It was the latter, definitely that. We live in Preston, and Preston's quite bad for knife crime, and it almost felt like, well, you see it in London daily someone's dying, getting stabbed, and we actually had a lot of old lyrics that were about like stabbing people. I suppose that's the genre norm, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we got to the point where we were like, let's actually talk about the other side, because every band talks about stabbing people. We were like, hold on, there's an issue here. It's time we addressed it. People actually are getting stabbed. Like, it goes beyond music for us now.
Yeah, completely.
Like, we see it daily. We see it daily. And it's something we're all quite passionate about. So the idea sort of just slid into place really naturally.
I would say is when you look into the lyrics and like, especially the ending of that song, the fact that you get both your guitar players just get pure feedback, and then Dan just shouts, "A man's not right if he's holding a knife." I think that just shows the extent of like the damage. Like, I think it's just so powerful. Like, the fact that some feedback and then a man shouting, "A man's not right if he's holding a knife." I think it just shows how powerful. Like, it's such a powerful message that no one really comes across. So fair play for like doing it, man. Like, it's, as I said, it's a phenomenal song. What was it like recording the music video for that song? Was it
really fun, actually? So for that music video, it's the first time we'd gone with Shaun from Loki Films, because with this song, it's the first time we've been to a.
Oh shit! Hang on.
Hang on,
mate. You're back.
Studio,
sorry about that.
We've been to Inner Sound.
Oh,
did I cut out?
Yeah, you did. You said this was the first time, and then you massively cut out.
Sorry.
That's all right, mate.
So it was the first time we did everything properly. Like, I know we went to Inner Sound Studios before, which was a proper studio, but we did record live drums there. It was the first time we'd done live drums. We'd done everything properly. The most we've ever spent on recording, the most we've ever spent on PR, the most we've ever spent on the music video. So in terms of the music video, we went with Shaun because we felt like we needed to take that step up, and he provided that. and he captured what we wanted perfectly. So it was really, really fun day. He's a really good guy.
So, going back to recording the drums for the music video, how did you play loud, or did you put tape on the cymbals to muffle them? Like, how did you make sure the drums weren't like too loud?
I've got a little trick that I don't think many people know about. So I fill all the drums with clothes,
Okay.
and you hit it, and it literally sounds like you're hitting it. Like if you hit your bed with a drumstick, sounds like that. So that's fine. I don't play my bass drum properly. Do you know at the end of your pedal where you've got like a foot plate?
Yeah,
I play
yeah.
on that, so the beaters actually aren't hitting. And I ordered off Amazon for my cymbals. They're like sticky gel.
Moon
Well,
gel.
it's like moon gel. It's like that, but they're about that big.
Oh, okay.
And they're clear. So when you stick it on the other side of your cymbals, it mutes them and you can't see them.
Wow, that's very clever. I was saying
Yeah.
because my teacher's in a band and he's done some music videos, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, we put clothes in the drums," and he was like, and then we put tape under the cymbal, and he was like, when I hit it, you can like when the cymbal moves, you can see like the tape along it. So I didn't know how you guys overcame that problem really.
Well, I've done one thing before. I've taped the cymbals before with gold tape. Now that sort of works, but if the light hits it just right, you can see the edges.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But this clear gel, perfect. Can't see a thing, and it mutes it better.
Mate, I will make sure I take note of that. So speaking of new releases, live at Boom, I want to just quickly touch upon this because I can't not. I listened to it this morning.
Yeah.
It's quite intimidating.
You think?
Mate, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like the sound clips you get from the start, like at the start of the songs before every song, like they're not haunting me, but they're just, do you know what I mean? Can you see what I'm trying to say? Like they're just,
that's sort of what we do in the live set. Yeah, we have those samples between each song, and I suppose it doesn't work as well when you're listening on Spotify. But if you were live and you felt the sound and you heard it all, it does create like an atmosphere.
I would say even because I use I can't remember. I think it's Shaw SE215s or Sennheiser.
Yeah,
yes.
I use those ones. Yeah,
and I listened to the live at the Boom, so everything was cut out, and all I had were the sound clips in my ears, and I was going quite like I was just getting quite tense because it's like just crowds going mental, and it's like like you said, when you're there as well and it's coming through like the PAs, I bet it just creates the most not tense atmosphere, but like, do you know what I mean? I bet it just creates like such a feeling that no one can like recreate at all, which is very, very clever.
That's what we do. We make those samples based on the feeling we want the song to create. So each one matches the song. Like the Shelldown one, we sample a Get song where he's chanting gas, gas.
Yeah.
And that sort of works for Shelldown. Whereas Mother I Suffer, it's like sort of like an emotional piano. And we've got samples of like crowds of people, like you're walking through a busy crowd. And then with Section 20, we've got the sample of the news reporter talking about knife crime, and we've got it all cut up and stuff. So each one has a purpose, and everything that you hear is thought through.
It's as I've said just now, it's very, very clever. I've scrolled to the bottom of my notes and I've just missed something that we said we were going to talk about that we didn't. The German headline festival show. I don't know what it was. What was it? It was
just like an all day.
I would say it was
1 day festival sort of thing.
I would say it wasn't a festival and it wasn't a show. It was like a mixture of the both. You had Harlequin, Recount, Schwarzkopf, to name a few of the bands.
Yeah.
How was that show? Because I've seen videos of Schwarzkopf playing and Harlequin and all of them boys, and I was saying this to I was saying this to Jack Lamb from Final Words. Those boys, the EU boys, just go a bit like big and beyond when it comes to beatdown. So how was it to play in a room with a bunch of Europeans just going at it.
That was a weird day. I mean, that was our first ever headline weekender in Europe. It was the first time we'd ever been to Europe. We'd been in Belgium the night before.
Oh, he's cut out again. Hello, mate. You cut out. You just cut out.
We had been in Germany for a start.
Oh,
have I cut out again? Sorry.
You're back now, mate. You said you were in Belgium before.
Yeah, it was weird initially because it was in Germany. I mean, turning up, we're all English, Northern as well, so we're all hard to understand anyway. But it's such a weird place, like for us to be. It just felt surreal. But lovely people, really hospitable, more so than a lot of English places. Like they give you more food, they give you drinks, they're a lot more welcoming than a lot of UK places. In terms of the bands, we were a bit weird on that lineup actually, because we were the least heavy band on the lineup. Schwarzkopf and Harlequin are two of the heaviest bands I've ever heard in my life.
Wow, okay.
Schwarzkopf, oh my God, like you hear it live, on record, and you can hear how like fuzzy it is because of how I don't even know how to describe it.
No, I get exactly what you mean. They're just I think they're just too hard for the record, so it just sort of distorts everything if you sort of get what do you know what I mean? It's just
Well, Schwarzkopf were ridiculous. I'd say those two were the big highlights for me, Schwarzkopf and Harlequin. I'd seen Harlequin before. They supported us in Newcastle.
Wow.
They were on our UK tour and we were on our UK tour, and they combined the shows. And they are so good. Yeah. It's unreal. But that, like I was saying about how we stuck out, every band on that show was so heavy that by the time we got on and we were playing, we felt like an indie band. We felt a bit but I can't remember, I think it was Harlequin. We were all stood outside, not outside the venue, but like outside the room. And this girl comes out pouring with blood. Shit. Literally pouring with blood. I remember watching a guy get actually beaten up.
Oh, you've cut again, mate. Hang on.
I heard he was making a bit of trouble with someone and he actually got beaten up.
Fucking hell. You're back now. Are you back? Oh no, why has this happened? Oh, hang on. I'm gonna pause the recording. So the girl was pouring in blood, and then you said a guy got beat up. I think I know what you're on about as well. I think I know what you're on about as well, because during one of the sets, some guy, because you've got the stage sort of like here, haven't you?
Yeah.
And there's like a doorway right next to the stage. I remember watching one of the bands play, and this guy just runs into the doorway and just jumps on everyone, and then he gets like pushed out, and then like 4 people all throw their drinks at him. So I don't know if that was the same bloke by any means.
I don't know. I think he was causing trouble with a few people. Like, I don't know if it was saying something, but one guy walked up to him and floored him, like punched him in the face. And he just got up and just didn't retaliate. It was so weird. And then someone took him outside and was like speaking to him. And it was all in German, so I didn't have a clue what was going on. And then someone else floored him. Oh, it was weird, but it was really fun.
So what were the crowd reaction to you guys? So obviously you were the headliners, but was it not as violent, but were they still going as hard for you guys, or was it sort of like
it was I would actually say it was a bit tame. It was nothing like Belgium the night before. Belgium was ridiculous. But in Germany, I think because they'd had about 10 hours of just pure beatdown, they was probably, I think, quite tired by the time we came on. And I think a lot of people probably saw that as a chance to have a breather, like just stand and actually enjoy the music. No. And I think it cleared out a lot, I think, by the time we played as well. It was quite late. So I might have been like 100 people there. But a lot of people would stand out in the wing, like away from so it was a massive room and it just seemed empty.
No, completely. I was gonna say, because that venue's it's like you've got the stage and then you've got like, you can't even call it a standing area because that's all mosh area. Do you know what I mean? Like no one really stands there. But on the topic of tours, I'm just jumping on to the gassed up Instagram because I can't remember the lineup.
Yeah.
So I'm not being rude at all.
That's right.
Free Howling, Monstries, and You Boys for the Slam Worldwide Tour.
Yes.
Mate, tell me
That's our
about
festival
it.
this year. Yeah, that came about actually. We were meant to be playing this festival called Bash at the Beach, and Monasteries were playing that as well. And we were looking to tour around the same time. So we were like, right, let's ask Monasteries. Should we tour together? We asked them, they were all down for it. And then we got kicked off. A load of stuff happened. We got kicked off that festival because we had like an issue with the promoter. And Monasteries ended up getting dropped off the tour as well. The show. So we were like, we'll still do the tours and Monasteries. And then Monasteries got approached by Slam Worldwide, I believe, about doing a Slam Worldwide tour. So us and Echelon Talent Agency, who Free Howling are with, were like, right, let's combine 3 bands and let's do this Slam Worldwide sponsored tour.
Mate, I'm so excited for this. I'm gonna be there. I will be there. Oh, it's such. I think I'm just gonna go primarily for you because, as I said, you guys were the first hardcore band that really opened everything up for me. So I think to see you guys live, to see you live as well as drummer to drummer, there's always, I think, just watching drummers play is just phenomenal. So I think watching you play will just blow my mind, really, man.
That's the thing when we play live, no one cares about me. It's Dan, isn't it? Everyone loves what Dan's our hype man. Like Gassed Up live is Dan.
I would say he has got unbelievable bars. Like just there's so many bars that just stick with me. Like not even in Gassed Up songs, but like when he goes on Street Soldier, I'm busy in the basement, son, you better do one. In a string vest, no socks and shoes on. Chopping up bodies is a very messy task. Got blood stained clothes, so I'm gonna need new ones. Like that, I don't know what it is about his bars, but they're just so memorable to me. Like
it's the one on the Pine Glass song that always gets us. The
I know this one.
I've had enough of this fooling around. You can say she's coming down.
12-hour shift for a full 5 days. I may as well have to get slapped to the face. Is it lunchtime?
Do you have a laugh?
Forklifts going through the front of your gaff. Black nail gun through the kneecaps. Big D's gonna wheel spin all over your grass cunt. You're a cheeky bastard. Kitchen's never gonna get replastered, mate. See, I'm quite a fanboy when it comes to Dan because his bars are just they just.
He never actually told us he was doing that. One day, he just sent us the track and was like, "Oh yeah, I've done this." And we were like,
mate, it's a
slap. We heard it, we were just like, "What is going on?"
It is a phenomenal track as well. Like as I said, I want to, if you can ever put a good word in for me to Dan, because I'd love to get him on, and I just love, like, especially as him as well, like, I'd love to talk to him about why Gassed Up were Rap Beatdown, because you're the drummer, so obviously you got input, but he's the guy that's delivering it. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to see from his eyes and his brain and how he felt, and I've just got lots of questions for Dan, really.
Well, Dan was a rapper before Gassed Up even happened. Gassed Up existed before Dan, but the other guy who was with Alex, our old vocalist, Alex did a bit of rapping and the screaming, and Dan came in and started doing more actual rapping. Dan was a drum and bass rapper.
Wow.
Dan's quite a bit older than us. I mean, like, we're early to mid-20s. Dan's 35 in August.
No, he is not.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it, would you?
Mate, I'd say he's like 26, 27, 28.
Yeah, like, no one can ever believe it, but he is literally almost 40.
That is ruined Gassed Up for me.
He's been live since I was in primary. So he came in, and that's how he was able to add all this new dimension to us as a band, because he had the experience. He knew how to rap, and he's got such a distinctive voice that it just worked.
Yeah, and I well, when you look at the fact you're headlining like festivals and headlining Euro shows, it clearly shows that you as a band and you guys as a unit are clearly doing something impeccable that everyone wants to keep coming back to. I mean, I'm literally in your hoodie as we talk. I remember I bought when you dropped the hats for, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Gnostic State?
Gnostic State, yeah.
I would say it's got a weird G in front of it, so I don't know if it's like Gnostic State. But I bought the hat. I'm like, as I said, to have you on is a
Thank you.
fucking massive honor. So speaking of tours, I'm gonna slyly ask this question: will we ever get a Cannula tour? If so, when will it be?
Yes, November.
Oh, do you want to come to Bristol?
Are we in Bristol?
I don't know. You haven't announced it.
I'll tell you. It's coming out soon. We're doing London, Manchester, Newcastle, and Birmingham.
Oh, okay. I'll see what I can do.
The thing is with Cannula, me and Matt, the guitarist, we're in Gassed Up. We talk quite a lot. Tom, the drummer, is in Leached, if you know Leached.
Don't think I do.
The signed to Prostate Records. So he's on tour the entire of October with his band Disappointing Venom Prison across UK and Europe.
Jesus.
So it's like, we just don't have the capacity to. So, we've got 4 shows this year, and that's pretty much all we can do.
Well, on the topic of Cannula, where did that come from? Like, what was it that sort of came up with that? Because obviously you're in Gassed Up, and Gassed Up are like smashing it, and then you just sort of come out and go, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna move away from the. You could just go. I'm gonna move away from the drum kit. I'm gonna open my lung pipes and just scream. And holy cow, what a job you are doing behind the microphone. Because as I said, I listened to Cannula this morning, and I was like, I can't believe that is the drummer from Gassed Up. I was like, that is just, mate, your vocals are phenomenal. So where was the idea? Where did the ideas come from, and who were your inspirations for the band?
So it initially came from Matt. So Matt is Gassed Up's bassist. Matt he's a guitarist. He doesn't actually play bass. We got him as the bassist just because we know he could do it.
If you can play bass, you can play guitar.
It's the same thing, really, isn't it? Yeah. So he's very influenced by like UK metalcore, or bands like Bullet for My Valentine, all the new wave of US metalcore bands like Sanction and Kawanashi and Vatican, for example. And he started writing for a solo project. He didn't get very far, and I basically said to him, I'd wanted to be a vocalist for a few years. I've been doing vocals, I'd say about two years now. So I sort of wanted to migrate to that position. I started doing more vocals for Gassed Up, and I was like, you know what? Let's start writing together. And we started writing one song together. I would like help him with the drums, and that's initially all it was. I was helping him. He didn't even know if he was going to get a new band sorted. He was just writing. And then I said to him, I want to be in this band. It was just working. Me and Matt just worked. And he was like, I don't really know. You're a drummer. Are you going to really be a good vocalist? I said, well, right, okay. Let me audition and I'll prove to you why I should. And he made me record a cover of The Prophet Who Saw Fire by Sanction. And he heard it and went, yeah. And then after that, we spent about 2 or 3 months. He moved into my house and we wrote that EP.
Mate, I'm so excited for that EP to come out.
It's a week now, I think. Next week.
Oh, even better. I would say I listened to all 3 singles on the bus, and the one bit that stuck with me was you'll know it straight away, was the ending of the song, and you just shout, I'm confined by the chains of my self-conscious mind.
Oh, Subconscious.
Oh, is it Subconscious, is it?
Yeah, it's the name of the EP. So people will realise when they hear the EP, but I say the EP name in every single song. And that was something that I've never seen anyone do before.
That's quite clever.
I thought it was quite cool.
That's a little Easter egg for anyone. If
people might think it's stupid, but I thought it was cool.
Can you imagine doing that for the new Gassed Up EP? Just being like, yeah, just whatever the name is. Actually,
well, this is the thing about Cannula. Like, it's letting me and Matt do a lot of creative stuff that we can't do in Gassed Up, because Gassed Up has its blueprint, and that is what Gassed Up is. And we can't really, we've tried to a few times, it doesn't work, deviating from the path. So Cannula is everything that we wanted to try and Gassed Up but haven't.
Well, I'm actually going to backtrack because I forgot to talk about this. You guys, aka Gassed Up, are recording an album, an EP. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I'm very excited. How are you finding it, man? Is it going all right?
Stressful.
Oh, really?
So I will be honest, we haven't been as productive as we should have been in lockdown. I mean, it took us best part of 8 months to write Section 20 on its own. And we're just being very, very slow. The simple answer is, so we've been in the studio and it's not an EP, it's just the one single.
Ooh,
so
okay.
To disappoint. We've got plans for an EP, but we're not quite there yet. But hopefully that single we're going to be dropping just before the Slam Worldwide tour.
Yeah.
So we're actually let me look at my calendar.
Mate, all the things you're saying to me are doing the right thing to make me buy every ticket for that Bristol show and just show up on my own.
We're filming a music video with Shaun again, Shaun Hodson, in 3 weeks.
Oh, is that for the new one? We
actually got the first mix back today for that single.
Oh, yes.
So it's all falling into place.
Mate, I am very excited. That is illicit music. Let's talk about that for a bit.
Yeah.
I've just seen. Oh, I literally seen it while I was waiting for you to call. I'm just gonna get your account up. You just announced Clench Your Fist.
Yes, Clench Your Fist. That's quite big for me, that. Clench Your Fist. I feel like they're one of the names, in terms of Euro beatdown, that is the name, or one of the names that pops up first, I would say.
No, definitely.
And they were the band that got me into beatdown, I'd say.
So it must be an honor to have them onto your show.
Not massively. Like, I just spoke to them, like, because I'm looking at, I booked for quite a lot of bands, and 2021 European tours, I don't think are going to happen. Yeah. I'm even saying that, like, for my own tour. I don't know. So I've got quite a few UK bands, but I want to start branching out into Europe and get some European bands. So, like, the first band on my radar was Clench Your Fist, and I thought, right, I really want to help grow this band in the UK. They've been to the UK quite a few times, but it's only for like one-off appearances. And I thought I really want to help them do better in the UK and do bigger things. So I spoke to them about it, and they were just as excited to work with me as I was to work with them. So it just clicked.
I was literally just chilling, and I saw that you announced Clench Your Fist, and I was like, wow. Yeah. And as you said, they were the first band that got you into beatdown. So I mean, for you, that must be even more better. Another band that I've seen you've added to your roster, Blossom and Burn. My God, what a band they are! They are. I should be getting them on here actually soon. So that would be nice. I'll talk to them about that.
It's funny how it started with them, because their first ever show was supporting Gassed Up, and they absolutely knocked my face off. It was ridiculous. I could not believe it. Like, we spoke to Harry, the vocalist's parents, at the show as well, and we were just like, we cannot believe that this is his first show. And like, we played with them again after that. They supported us in Preston. We did like a big hometown show, and we got them on it because they impressed us. I've been speaking to them a bit because I may or may not be touring with them at some point.
What, Cannula or Gassed Up?
Cannula, maybe.
Ooh.
So it was just natural. We just did well together, and it clicked. So we were like, right, let's get you on board. And I really think they've got potential to do a lot better. I just don't think they've been steered in the right direction yet.
I get you, man.
And that's what I want to help them do.
I would say, especially with your experience in Gassed Up, like, you can probably get the shows for Blossom and Burn, and you can like, not with your power in the scene, but like, I think you know what I'm trying to get at with that comment.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like they just need someone in the corner who knows what they're doing to believe in them.
Nah, completely. One show that I didn't realize that you put on that I'm probably going to, correct me if I'm wrong, Starved with
Starved on my roster, yeah.
Bleach. Is it Bleach?
Bleach aren't on the tour anymore. It's you talking about the Bristol show?
Yes, because Loose
Yes.
Ends and Blossom and Burn are on that one, and I cannot wait.
So that'll be the Human Veil have replaced Bleach on that tour. So yeah, I booked that tour. Yeah, Starved
Mate,
on my roster.
that was a
And
good booking from you.
Jay, who's Gas Ups manager. So
I'd
we
say,
sort of
I'd
together.
say, seeing Blossom and Burn and Loose Ends one show in my hometown is just perfect for
Well,
me.
that's another band, Loose Ends. Loose Ends, I think they played their first show on. It was when we were on tour with NTXS. It was our Birmingham day, and I'm pretty sure it was Loose Ends and Blossom and Burn's first show supporting that show, and both of them were ridiculous.
Mate, those boys are unbelievable. I had the honor of getting Johnny on here, but obviously there were some technical difficulties, so me and him are re-recording that. But now, man, it's just those guys. I think some of the young bands like Blossom and Burn and Loose Ends, they're being slept on at the moment. And once they get the right push, they will destroy everything.
This is the issue. I think I do agree with like the DIY philosophy of like you don't always have to pay someone to do it for you. You learn how to do it yourself. That's why I book for Gastel. I've learned what to do. We don't need to pay someone else to do it. I know what I'm doing. Same with Cannula. But I think you sometimes need that, you need someone in your corner who knows people, because it is more about who you know. And once someone has trust in that person, they trust your bands.
No, completely.
So I do think those bands, like for example, Blossom and Burn, even though they've got the weight behind them through the music speaks for itself. I just think they needed that one person to help push them, and for other people to think, okay, that person trusts them, let's give them a shot.
I would say, and as it comes, and I don't know many promoters. Like I know Mean Streak Management, like they're doing pretty well, and I think if I was in a hardcore band and I wanted someone to take me under their wing, I think you would be the guy that would be like, I would, if I had the choice, I would go for you 100%.
Thank you.
No, just you're trying. It's just it's just like everything you guys like, especially I hate like I think you probably hate it as well, but when people talk about how big Gassed Up are, do you hate that at all?
It's a bit weird because fair enough, we're getting to the point. I personally think we're at like a middle point. We're at that point where we're starting to headline the lower level festivals. We're headlining shows, but we're not quite breaking into that top level yet.
No, I get you completely.
And that's where I mentioned about where I still feel like we get to earn the respect of the bigger people. I think they still see Gassed Up as a bit of a stupid thing. We're a bit of a Marmite. We always say we're a Marmite band.
No.
And I feel like the lower level have gotten to the point now where we've worked hard enough and they love us. But this top level that we're almost getting into aren't quite there yet.
I would say, when you boys hit that top level, it's over for everyone, because it's just Gassed Up. They're like everyone's like a family in like the Gassed Up fan base. Like just like the fact that you came to me and was like, yeah, I want to jump on this call. Like,
yeah,
to know that the drummer of the hardcore band that I got massively into, and I've learned not every song, but I know most of the bars in like most of the songs. Like the fact he came to me and was like, yeah, we can chat. Like it just, to me, as a kid that got into hardcore and beatdown like a couple of years ago, it just shocks me. Do you know what I mean? Like in the best ways possible.
Yeah. Well, not to blow our own trumpets, but people always come to us and say we're the nicest, most professional band they've spoken to, and we always make sure that we do that, because what are you without the fans who are paying to come and see you? Exactly.
I'm in the hoodie.
I've dealt with some bands, agents, promoters, and you speak to them and you just think, my God, I never want to work with you again. And having the opposite approach, I think, can sometimes do more for you than how good you are at being a band. I think sometimes it speaks small volumes in your music.
I would say I like how open you are with Gassed Up. Like you're not obviously not being as open as, oh yeah, here's the new EP we've got, and then you just play it. But like obviously, like as you said, you're in like we're headlining the local festivals. To me, I didn't want to make sure I wanted to step in line. So that's why I was like, I can send you all the questions, because I didn't know if you had to like refer them to anyone to make sure they were like nothing.
No,
Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't want to
yeah.
I didn't want to step out of line at all, because especially as the fact that I wake up and I'm like Gassed Up, or just, I'm always listening to you guys. The last thing I wanted was to go to a show and then you look at me and you go, that's the kid that like put our livelihoods on the line in an interview. Do you know what I mean?
So we're not like that at all. Honestly, we are. Well, that's why it's kind of funny, like, because we are just normal. Like we're not even that big of a band, really. That's why it's so funny to us when some people like say stuff like that. So we're like, oh, what?
Yeah. But no, it's just like, to me, it's like Gassed Up. Like, just, do you know what I mean? Like you play like everything, like you play festivals, you play like your own headline shows, and like you've got to be at some level of good to be headline. Like I've just been told that I've got a gig on Wednesday for my band in a pub. So
all right.
That should be.
Oh, is it social distance?
But you have to like book tables, and like the tables have got certain amounts of people. But I am very excited for that, just because it's been a while. But like as I said, like Gassed Up don't play pubs, they play venues. Do you know what I mean? Like, so to me, it's more. I think it's the fact of I see you on the stage, and now I've got to get past the whole stigma of this guy is a normal person and he wants to have a chat. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just that whole concept of, okay, he is a normal human being. He is not a robot that is drumming him. Do you know what I mean? It's just getting past that whole thing.
Like that. Yeah, we are the opposite of that. And we've got all the time in the world for everyone. That's what we always wanted to be. We always wanted to just be normal, nice people, because we collectively hate those people who get a few listens on Spotify and they walk around with their head up their ass and don't talk to people, and it's just. It's not,
I get you.
None of you are Metallica. Like, fair enough if you were James Hetfield doing that, but
no. And as I said at the moment you came on the call, it's an honor to have you here, man. Like, as I said, the first hardcore band that got me into everything. Like, just literally, funny story. I was at a girl's house and she had YouTube on her telly.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen to this song, and I put Conflict on.
Oh, really?
And next thing, so she never used YouTube on her telly, and I put Conflict on once, and it was like, you know, on like YouTube recommendations, it's like, because you listen to Conflict, you might like, mate, her whole YouTube was stacked with Gassed Up live videos and like
such music videos. Like Conflict video as well. So it's just like a stupid thing to be introduced to us with. Because we made that video ourselves just with random clips. Like there's clips of me like asleep on my sofa and stuff like that our old vocalist took. And there's one of him. I was closing the fridge and he like scared me. I'm in my pajamas and he's put that in the Conflict music video. It's so stupid.
I was gonna say I watched it and there were like a few videos of like the old shows you used to do, and it looked like they used to just be in office blocks. Or probably, I was gonna say they probably weren't office blocks, but they just looked like empty bedrooms that you just set up and play in.
Well, this is the point. Like, it's not our music that's gotten us to the point we're at now. It's hard work. We have played everywhere numerous times. We've played to no one. We've played to a lot of people, and I think that's proven it. If a band as stupid as ours side can get past that first step and onto the step we're at now, just through hard work, anyone's capable of it. You've just got to actually try. Yeah. Like we've honestly done. We rarely turn down a show, and have always been that way. We talk to anyone we can. We play with anyone we can. Like we've played hip hop shows with rappers, and then we turn up. We played with Crazy Town once,
Wow.
Do you know that band who has that song that goes, "Come, my lady, come, come, my lady, you're my butterfly"?
I don't think I do, mate.
You'll know it if you hear it. Like we played with them, and we just love it. So, and
Nah,
that more
I would
than
say
new music.
it's just so nice, like the fact that what is it? Is it like the 36 hour, like not 30, I think it might be 36-hour rule, that whole music thing. Whereas like if you've got to put your 36 hours into I can't remember what it is, but it's like 36 hours of like gigs or like practice. You've got to put that in to
Yeah,
like get all the knowledge you need. And it's clear you guys have done 36 hours and some extra.
no, it's mental. Honestly, well, I've been in this band 6 years now, and it was going a tiny bit before me. Like we had a year off in that time. Gas Up actually broke up for a year, and then we came back. So it's like it's not been 6 years full on. I'd say it's been since 2018 when we joined Illicit Music and when we had our new lineup. Everything changed, and we've been non-stop, full pelt at it, and it's worked
Mate,
to some degree.
as I've said, you're smashing the game. And I think even, I don't know if you'll agree, but I mean, even if referring back to what you said, even if you sit on the level that you're on now, I think everyone that's a fan of Gassed Up will just be happy with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like obviously, if you get to Malev levels or like that, so if you get to Malev height,
Yeah,
everyone will be happy for you because you fucking grinded
yeah.
for it. But like even if you get to where you are now, I feel like you've achieved so much, and you got like coming from a line, you were like the rap beatdown band that started them. So like
Yeah.
So like to know that
Yeah.
you've influenced other bands as well. I like if I was in your shoes, I'd be. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to be like
Yeah.
you should be happy with where you are, but
Yeah.
like even where you guys are now is like
Oh,
phenomenal.
we're definitely proud. I mean, like we hit 1 million streams on Spotify the other week, and like that was a goal of mine when I started music, and here we are 6 years later, we did it, and it's like, okay, we've achieved that now. What's next?
Mate, what is next?
It's still that point where we're saying, right, we've achieved that. Okay, how do we better that? That is always our mentality. What can we do better? What can we do next? And that's what keeps you going.
Mate,
Like,
so
we're at that
I've got
weird point where, sorry.
no, carry on. I was just gonna say I've got one more
point.
question about Gassed Up, and then I think we should just end the conversation. Not end the conversation, but I've literally got one more question about Gassed Up, and I think you were about to like lead into it then.
But I was just going to mention about when I was saying about how I still think we get to earn a lot of people's respect. I sort of think we're like a bit too hardcore for the metal scene, and we're a bit too metalcore for the hardcore scene. So I think we've not got the full respect of each side, but we've sort of got this middle path of our own.
Nah, completely. Right. So I want to ask you one. Well, this is the only question I can think of to like sort of collect this whole interview together. What
Yeah.
is next for Gassed Up? So as you said, you hit 1 million streams the other week,
Yeah.
and you want to better yourself. How are you going to do that? Like, what are your intentions? Like, what? How are you basically gonna take your 1 million and go?
Yeah.
That's barely anything to us headlining Download Fest, or do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So, what is next for Gassed Up?
Well, I'm already in the motions of planning it, so may as well let you into a little secret.
Oh, I love you.
So we've got the tours in 2021. Our plan is that's at this level. We're now planning the same things, but on this level.
Okay.
So we're now trying to work out, okay, we've headline shows to 200 cap venues. Let's move that to 300 cap. Let's see how many tickets we can sell.
Ooh.
Let's work with bigger promoters. Let's work with bigger bands. Let's look at, like, for example, we've got our first European tour. It's meant to happen in October. Okay, we're about to headline Europe. Okay, how does that go? If we sell out a few venues, okay, how do we sell out bigger venues? It's all about upscaling. So everything we're doing in 2021, we're planning in 2022 to do the same thing, but bigger.
Wow. So you've heard it here first. 2021 is going to be the year where Gassed Up take everything, throw it away, and just smash everything.
I think the next step for us would be playing festivals like Woodstock. on, or like opening the New Blood stage, something like that.
Mate, that would be phenomenal. That
Like,
would be.
it's those sorts of things, and like getting a bigger tour, a support is like we pretty much headline everything we do because that's what I mean. We're not quite at that level where the bigger bands, and because we're such a niche band, I feel like you've got to sort of be like us to play with us. The bigger bands, I don't think want a rap hardcore band on their tours. So the next step for us would be to gain the trust of someone on the level, have someone have the confidence to take us out and grow our audience that way. I think that is the next step for us.
Mate, and on that, I think we wrap the interview here, man. It's been an honor. It's been an honor. As I said, just having you on here was phenomenal. Like,
if we don't waffle too much,
mate, I wish I could have you on all night and all day tomorrow. I just have so many stories that I'd love to ask you. And as I said, if you thought this went well, just give Dan a message, and I'd love to get him on.
I'll
But
speak to him after this.
I'm gonna end the